What's going on, everybody? B. Scott, I'm here with
Godzilla
and
Third wheel.
And on today's show, we're going to be going through the NFC West recap. We're 4 weeks into the season. NFC West looking like one of the strongest divisions in football, like we already mentioned. Yeah. And then they got a great Thursday night matchup. Los Angeles Rams on the road against Seattle Seahawks. So
very must win for that one of those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Big, important game, plain and simple. The Rams coming off a loss. Seahawks needed to win. They got it done. So anyway, keep it locked and loaded right here at the first four downs.
We got you. Plug.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. B. Scott, God, third wheel here. We're going over the NFC West. Plain and simple, Thursday night matchup. We got a huge NFC West showdown. The Los Angeles Rams coming off a loss, going against Seattle Seahawks. Very important game in this division. Yeah. And then obviously these other teams, there's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. Last week we had huge divisional games, and they made the pace for the power rankings this week, which the Arizona Cardinals are number one this week, which we had the LA Rams. But before we get into all that, like, subscribe, hit the Instagram, hit the thumb, hit the nail, all that good shit.
Yeah,
you know
of course.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Of course. Support is absolutely always loved around here. So we'll dive right into it. We're going to start with the San Francisco 49ers, 2-2.
Obviously the worst team in the division.
Okay. At this point, you could probably say that because they have been riddled with a lot of injuries. The defense hasn't looked as good as we hoped coming into the season. They've already been injured, especially the running backs. Running back core.
They've been injured for 3 years now.
That's true.
It makes me wonder: is Kyle Shanahan a good head coach, or do they need Richard Simmons or Billy Blank or somebody to be the health coordinator over there? You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you,
there's something wrong. They're not eating right. Maybe a lot of Popeye's chicken, a lot of beer. There's something going on in San Francisco or Santa Clara, if you will. But they don't look right.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree there. The secondary hasn't been great. Giving up big plays, honestly, should have beat the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Last week, Seattle needed the win. Guess what? They came in. They got it done. They're still a good football team, plain and simple. They're, in my opinion, above average team.
Hey, look.
They're above a 500 team.
San Francisco has a lot of great playmakers. You know what I'm saying? They thrive off yak on the offense, and they thrive off shutting the pass down on the defensive side. But right now, the secondary is pretty bad, and the pass rushers are not there.
Yeah.
Week in and week out, there's an injury. So, without the explosion on the run game, which is built around that Shanahan offense and the West Coast offense, the short game with George Kittle and everything else, the play action passes.
Yeah.
What can they really do? We seen Debo go off and he's on pace for 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns, but is that going to sustain every game?
Yeah.
We don't know. What we do know is yet another season, as we're talking about injuries, Jimmy Garoppolo was hurt once again. So now everybody's calling out, this is Trey area. You know what I'm saying? This is time to shine. And the moment could be right now to seize. If you really look at the situation, we're looking at a situation where, if you remember Lamar Jackson's rookie year, Joe Flacco was the starter over there.
Yeah.
And for him not to be on the roster the following season, he had not to get injured. You know what I'm saying? Or they kept him on the roster and kept his contract. This is the same thing. This is $27 million on the cap. So this may not be a thing of whether or not Trey Lance is ready to play, or are they committed to go the route of being committed to Jimmy Garoppolo next season?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you really take that chance? Do you really put him out there knowing that he's hurt? You know what I'm saying? And could possibly need surgery, getting hit again? Or do you just start the guy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's one thing about Trey Lance that is different from the other quarterbacks. He opted out in the 2020 season in his college career. So we haven't seen much of him, and he hasn't had much football under his belt. But I think that he can get acclimated with the yak guys that he has. All he got to do is hit the target.
Yeah, that's true.
And we know that he can hit these targets. He threw no interceptions in his college. You know what I'm saying? In his junior year. So I think we all screaming Trey area, and hopefully that is a better output for the team season long. But right now, they're at the bottom of the division.
Yeah, they are. To be honest, Trey Lance looked great. Don't get me wrong, but he's still kind of raw in certain spots.
20 points in half a game.
Yeah, for fantasy, 20 points. Honestly, I'm not sure how the offense is going to run just strictly under him. Obviously, they're going to mix some things up. He right now in his career looks like a guy that's going to be looking one way and taking off and running. That's about it. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be effective if he can get 6 to 7 rushing yards every single attempt. Yeah. Plain and simple. So I like it going forward. I think the 49ers are in this mode where they need to get Trey Lance acclimated as soon as possible to continue to be good in this division. You look at the teams around. Arizona Cardinals ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Kyler Murray's young. Russell Wilson, is he on the last limb out? I mean, honestly, he's one of the older quarterbacks in this division. The Los Angeles Rams, they're in buy now every year right now. Yeah, you know what I mean. So they're gonna pay for it no matter what. So
you have to have that dynamic period on your team, or you're just gonna phase out.
So now we can turn our attention to the Arizona Cardinals. Plain and simple, the new number one in the power rankings, at least for us, especially 4-0, only undefeated team in the NFL. Beat up the Rams. Plain and simple. Led in that game wire to wire. The Rams just didn't look good, and the Cardinals. We know the defense is a little spotty here and there, but they play pretty decently, and the offense at this moment cannot be stopped. Kyler Murray is looking outstanding, honestly, probably leading the MVP at this moment with the only undefeated team.
Yeah, it was a shock to a lot of people, I think. You look at McVay's record against Cliff Kingsbury since he's been a part of the Arizona Cardinals. He was 8-0 against these guys. So, I think a lot of the bookmakers, completely cashed out here. I was one of these people who took the Cardinals, but that is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The Arizona Cardinals look, bar none, ridiculous right now. I don't think there's no stopping Kyler at this point. When you got veteran receivers with, AJ Green, you know what I'm saying, Hopkins, you got Rondell doing his work over there whenever he shows up. Max Williams right now, boomer bust tight end. I mean, if you have a guy outside of, the top 6 tight ends right now, you might as well go with the boomer bust right there. Because his boom is ridiculous. Yeah. Arizona, they got a lot of defensive players who are very fast at the ball. You think about the defensive line and Budda Baker, these guys can make plays. Yeah. It is what it is. I think these guys have been for real. I've been saying it for a long time. And, looking at them as a whole, I see a whole football team. Yeah. I think the only thing that would stop them pretty much is an injury to the running back core. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think at this point either one of those guys could be a full workload kind of guy. You know what I mean? You got, James Conner doing the King and Drake thing. We expected that to happen. Yeah. And Chase Edmonds looks good, you know what I'm saying, on the early carry. So what's really going to stop him? Obviously, in the power rankings, LA Rams couldn't stop him. Yeah. So you're telling me San Francisco, you're telling me Seattle with their problems, which we'll get into in a minute, can stop them. I don't know. I think they're going to win the division.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised. I was a little surprised just going in how much better they've looked through the first 4 weeks, plain and simple. I knew they were coming. I knew they had a great football team. I knew Kyler, coming into the third year, quarterback position, had all the upside. Everything was going in the right direction. I didn't know if Cliff Kingsbury could put them over the top in this division against these tougher defenses, plain and simple. This defense made some plays last year, but albeit wasn't that great.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with his play calling in the past. And, you go to a air raid system in the NFL and you don't have all the components that you need to complete this offense. And now you go get Rondell Moore and AJ Green. And now that they have these pieces, they can be more efficient and more effective in what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do in his offense. And they doing it without a hitch.
Yeah, of course. Arizona Cardinals are just looking outstanding. I don't see any slowing down, albeit, like I said, they don't have the best defense in the division, but I think they have more than enough playmakers on that defense to be good.
Just to keep them in the game.
Yeah, of course. So now let's get into the Thursday night matchup. Obviously, we got 2 teams that are playing each other in this division, both on different spectrums, in my opinion. Because you have Seattle that's really reeling at the moment. Pulled off a great win that they needed against 49ers team. They would have fell to 1-3. Now they're 2-2.
Niners suck.
I know, I understand. That's fine. Now Seattle Seahawks 2-2 at home. Haven't played well, honestly, at home. Lost to the Tennessee Titans. Bad game there. Got the Rams coming to town. And really, I wouldn't say it's a must-win. I mean, it's still early in the season, but the Rams are 3-1, and I'll tell you right now, if they give up that win this early in the season to the Rams, or at least take the loss to them, it's going to be tough going forward.
Yeah, the Seahawks are looking like the Seahawks. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is they're like bottom 3 in the league in pass attempts per game. And I think that them switching to Shane Waldron, what was supposed to be more of a West Coast offense, is keeping them gun shy a little bit because they don't really know the offense that much. You know what I mean? You look at the targets of DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, this guy Fred Swain. You need to be hitting these guys a little bit more especially in this division, to be able to hang in games.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You look at DK and Tyler Lockett, they only have one game which they had double-digit targets, period. Fred Swain, averaging 4 targets a game. You need to be passing the ball at least 10 to 15 times more than the 27 times that you're passing the ball right now. That's at the bottom of the league. You're not going to be able to compete. You might as well, if you're on the spectrum of letting Russ cook, you got to let him do it. And if he's audible into running plays, then you got to change something. Somebody has to change the play calling, because this is the problem with them. We've seen, Minnesota, these kind of teams, Dallas. You don't have to have the most elite defense in the league, but if you can pass the ball and keep up in the scorable games, you're going to be just fine. And that's the problem that's going on in Seattle right now. They need to pass the ball more, at least 10 to 15 times more per game, and they'll be okay. Now, you go to the other side of this ball. The LA Rams are not the same team in the secondary, letting the all-pro go like Johnson, letting Troy Hill go. They're not the same team. They can be beat by elite quarterbacks and elite coverage, and it's been shown. I don't think that they can hold those kind of teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the runs per carry, 4.7. That's not a LA Rams typical defense that we're used to seeing. I think that they are starting off a little bit slow, like a lot of these defenses are. But for them to be more dominant, they have to shut down this pass a little bit better.
Yeah.
Then you go to Matthew Stafford. Is he really an upgrade from Jared Goff? Where's Robert Woods? Where's Bobby Trees? Some were just chilling in the trees, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not hitting them at all. So we're seeing Matthew Stafford do what Matthew Stafford does, produce a slot, and nothing else really. He's throwing the ball down the field a little bit, you know what I'm saying, on these deep targets. But where's your playmaker at? Where's the guy who was the effective maker on that team last year? Robert Woods, where is that? They need to get more plays to Robert Woods, and I think that there'll be a more complete offense. Yes, of course, Darrell Henderson is a rock star at running back, but it's going to take time for him to get healthy. That rib thing, that's some hurtful shit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But, he ran pretty effective last week, missed one game, and he's back. You know what I'm saying? So against a Seattle Seahawks defense who are getting thrashed by the running back position, I think the LA Rams win this game, bar none. I'm not sure if it goes over to 54. It's really scary to me that Seattle was a 1-point favorite in this game opening up. Now they're a 3-point dog at a 54.5 when it opened up at 48. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be under, and I think the LA Rams win this game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The line of the game, like you mentioned, LA Rams -3, 54.5 over under, like you mentioned. There's probably going to be a decent amount of points to be had here. Last time these teams played on Thursday night, it was a very close game, high scoring. So I could see this game being a high scoring game. The defenses, yes. Seattle's defense hasn't looked good. I think with them not being able to run the football effectively, you see Chris Carson in and out of the lineup.
Yeah.
Under 50% snap share last 2 weeks. Dealing with an injury, and he might miss this game. You got Alex Collins is going to run the football a decent amount if he is out. They're not being able to sustain long enough drives, in my opinion, to get that defense rest. And so that's why they're losing these games in the second half. Yeah, where it's like, you got to be able to make these plays happen, and they just haven't. Yeah, they've come away with absolutely great big plays down the field. But what comes in turn with those big plays? Your defense back on the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Seattle's defense isn't great as it is, but now you're leaving them out there to dry. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard. You need to sustain some drives a little bit, give that defense some rest in this game, especially if you want a chance. And the Rams, man, they look like a complete team, plain and simple. I think Stafford had a very bad game. He really looked out of sync, out of sorts last week against the Cardinals defense, to be honest. And maybe they got pressure on him. Maybe they had some coverages.
But is he an upgrade over Goff?
I think he's an upgrade over Goff a little bit. I think he can throw it down the field a little better than Goff, plain and simple. Goff's a game manager at best, in my opinion. I don't know. What's Goff doing?
I mean, he's shooting it out. He's airing it out.
He sure is.
He's on a whole different team. You know what I mean? Where Matthew Stafford struggled at as well. So,
but we're also talking about a Detroit Lions team that we don't know if they're going to get a win.
Yeah, but you're looking at Matthew Stafford on this team where he's producing the same targets. He's doing the same thing. There's no upgrade from that trade at all. You know what I'm saying? Behind this old offensive line, I mean, they traded Jared Goff because McVay and Goff had a problem, and that's really showing on the field. And that's all it is to it. I think they should have differences aside, and continued on their journey in this thing, because like you said, they're buying for right now, and buying Matthew Stafford right now is not looking the part. You know what I mean? I don't know if that takes them over the edge. I really don't see it. You know what I mean? I really don't.
You just don't like Stafford. It's okay. I think Stafford's a pretty good quarterback. I think he's an upgrade over Jared Goff, personally. Jared Goff is a little younger, obviously, and we've seen him. He's gotten to the Super Bowl with these Rams before. So to say that he's a scrub quarterback, no, I mean nothing by that.
I would say nothing about him being a scrub quarterback. No, I just said he's not.
No, not you. That's what I'm. No, yeah. What I'm saying is for me. I'm not sitting here saying Jared Goff's a scrub. I'm just saying that I think Stafford is an upgrade of sorts. Now, is he game breaking? Is he this huge difference maker? Maybe not. Maybe not as much as some people expect. But
maybe the difference is Stafford could play in the cold.
Yeah. Well, now he's in the dome. He ain't got to worry about it in LA. But we're gonna deal with this game, Seattle versus the Los Angeles Rams. I have to take the Rams here. I think Seattle needs to win this football game. It's a very important game, but I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done against this Rams team.
Yeah, I'm laying with the chalk. I'm taking the 3, period.
Okay. So, yeah, once again, that was the NFC West recap. Just looking at some teams, honestly, I still think the Rams are really, really good, but yes, they lost to the Cardinals. And then all these teams in this division are still above average teams, probably all going to finish over 500. So,
except for the Niners.
Okay, that's fine. So anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff, and then comment if you want to hear about one of these teams a little bit more in depth. I don't know, we talked about them a decent amount, but if you want, drop in the comment section. We'll be glad to get back to you. So for the first 4 downs, once again, it's been B. Scott,
Godzilla,
and
Third Wheel. First 4 downs, you already know what it is. See you Saturday.